Hello and welcome to another episode of the Experiencing Love podcast. I am your host, Philip Jocks, and I am so glad that you're here. Let's talk today about feeling discomfort in our lives and what that could mean for us, and just another reminder to choose love over fear. Let's get into it. How can I experience even more of God's love right now? This question hit really close to home earlier today as I've been experiencing some discomfort in different areas of my life. I acknowledge now that it's no accident that I'm feeling this discomfort. It's here for a reason. While the discomfort is happening, it could be a little challenging to spot the reason, but I'm fortunate enough to remember that there always is one. And so I took some time to reflect. I went on my daily walk and I just let myself think about it. And I was thinking about how and why this is a good thing for me. And I came up with a solution. In this case, I see this as an opportunity to be resourceful. Resourcefulness is a very important and very crucial skill to build in one's life. Resourcefulness is the root of problem solving. And if problems are a given in our life, that not everything is going to be perfect at all times. It's very important to become good at problem solving. And so this is that opportunity for me, that instead of getting upset and instead of shutting down, I actually get to practice finding new solutions to old problems. I get to sit down and really think about, what are my options? What are the consequences of each option? How can I mitigate the bad sides of these options and keep the good sides? How can I meet everybody's needs and everybody's outcomes, not just my own or not just someone else's? It's not always guaranteed that you're going to have 100% win-win. There will be compromises that are going to be made when you're solving problems. But I often find that the first solution that comes to mind might not always be the best one. There may be other options that keep the good and mitigate the bad. So this is my opportunity to sit and think, come up with more options. I've heard this quote before that I believe Tony Robbins says, and it goes something along the lines of, if you have one option, you have no options. If you have two options, you have a dilemma. But if you have three options, now you have a real choice. And I find that given enough time, there is always a third option. And if there's a third, that means there's a fourth and a fifth and a sixth, and so on. So rather than let myself get backed into a corner of two options, both of which I don't like, I have the opportunity now to practice, what's the third option? What's something that might seem a little outlandish now, but might spark an idea for better options to come? So I'm very grateful for this discomfort that I'm feeling, because it's an opportunity to build my skills. It's an opportunity to practice what I know, to practice what I've learned. And it's an opportunity to grow and learn. It's a great skill for teamwork. It's a great skill for collaboration. It's a great skill for finding win-wins. Now, there's another area that I was feeling discomfort in before, and I acknowledge it now as a point of fear. A point of fear where someone may be asking for help, and I'm not sure if I'm the right person to help them. So I asked myself again, how can I experience even more of God's love right now? How and why is this a good thing for me? How can I approach from love and serve? And the point that I've come to so far is that it's not on me to solve 100% of the problem. It takes a team. It takes a village. It's my responsibility to do what I can, to help how I can, and most importantly, to show up from love and not from judgment, not from criticism. And when I put it like that, it's so much simpler. I look at that and say, of course I can do that. So that's my job. That's my role. I help out how I can. I share the knowledge that I have, and I support those around me. I also need to make sure that I'm not crossing any of my own lines, any of my own boundaries, and my own morals. I choose to make sure that I'm not letting my ego get ahead of me. The ego doesn't act and it doesn't serve out of love. It's out of self-interest. And that's part of my learning today. Part of the overall theme of not just today, but every day for me, is the practice of listening, the practice of being present. God, people call it the universe, is always sending us messages. It's messages through our feelings, through our thoughts, through external situations and circumstances. When I feel good, it's a good for you. When I feel bad, it's to draw attention to something. So today and every day, I really practice listening. I've heard it referred to as downloading and uploading, that we as people can either be in download mode or in upload mode. When we're downloading, we're listening, we're getting the messages, we're taking them in and we're learning from them and we're growing from them. When we're in upload mode, that's when we let our egos take the wheel. That's when our fears, our anxieties, our suffering, our disappointments, that's when those are in control. And we're projecting that onto the world. You know, it may be our stresses that we rant about. And the more that we focus on the stress and how it's debilitating, rather than focusing on being resourceful and finding a solution to the problem causing stress, the less we're able to hear what the universe or God is trying to tell us. I love my question, how can I experience even more of God's love right now? Because sometimes when I just use the word or the words, God's love, I remind myself that there is something trying to communicate with me. It like puts me back in my own head, or my own heart, I should say. Because when I'm in upload mode, that's when I'm in my head. And I've learned that when I'm in my head, I'm dead. That's when all things stop. That's when all progress stops, all growth stops. That's when I'm overthinking, overstressing. You know, I still feel stress, but I now use it as a signal, as a marker to tell me that something is off. It's not wrong to feel stress. It's actually important to feel it sometimes, because stress signals growth and signals change, and change is inevitable. But if it signals change and signals something new coming, growth coming, and you choose to do nothing about it, that's when the suffering comes in. That's when the pain comes in. And that's when people often get an aversion to stress. Stress makes us stronger. It's like working out a muscle. You can't build muscle if you don't use it. Stress on a muscle builds it. And we could put stress on our minds, on our bodies, on our souls. And if done in the right way, it can lead to massive growth. For me, the more I grow, the more I learn to love. For me, love is one of my favorite experiences in this world. I've learned not to restrict myself and my definition of love to any one thing or person or experience. There's many different forms of love too, and I appreciate every single one of them. There's the love that I have for a family member, for a stranger, for a food, for a place. Each one holds a different meaning. It's a different part of a greater whole, because deep down it's just this emotion of love that drives me. So when I practice love, when I say how could I experience even more of God's love right now, I go through all the different types of love I can think of in that moment. How can I love this place that I'm in right now? How can I love the things that I have around me? Maybe it's the clothes on my body. Maybe it's the book that I'm reading. Maybe it's the car that I'm driving. How could I love the people? Maybe I'm surrounded by strangers, but I can appreciate maybe someone with a nice haircut, cool glasses, awesome socks. I love a good pair of socks. And while just focusing on one of those types of love, and maybe just focusing on one types of and it may not be enough to focus on just one type of love, but when I stack them on top of each other, and then I start thinking about my memories of love and the people that I love that may not be around me, but are always with me, that's when love becomes really powerful. Those are the times when I grow emotional. Choosing love has been one of my greatest gifts thus far. And it is so important to me because as of right now, I'm 22 years old. 22. You know, I have a plan, I have hopes, I have dreams of living to 105. Yes, I can't guarantee I'll get there, but I could take care of myself now in a way to get there. And so when I look at it like that and I say, I still have 83 years left to live, at least. Can you imagine what 83 years of love would feel like? 83 years of joy, of excitement, of gratitude, of growth, of appreciation, of strength, of courage, of passion. 83 years can go by fast, and I can also make it the best 83 years I can through the emotions I choose to feel. For me, thinking about all those emotions and feeling all those emotions can be positively overwhelming, like where I just can't contain it. I'll start jumping up and down, maybe squealing a little. I've had times that I've gotten so excited, I'm literally shaking. Those are some of my favorite times. How can I experience even more of God's love right now? I can also remember that I'm here right now. I'm present. I am exactly where I'm supposed to be, when I'm supposed to be. If I want to be somewhere else, I work towards that for my future. But I was not meant to be there now. And I know that because I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. If you ever feel like you're supposed to be with someone that you're not, or you're supposed to be at a place that you're not, maybe you're supposed to have a job that you don't have, just know that there's a very specific reason as to why you don't have it yet. And just because you don't have it now doesn't mean you can't create that for yourself for the future. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, and that's incredible to me. I'm surrounded by blessings. I get to spend even more time with family than I would if I was halfway across the world. Yes, it would be cool to be halfway across the world, traveling, visiting friends, but that's not what's meant for me right now. Right now, I'm meant to be in front of this microphone, speaking to you. You're meant to be wherever you are, listening to this audio, listening to this episode. And if you want to get real curious, start asking why. Ask yourself, why am I meant to be right here? Ask yourself, why am I meant to be listening to this episode? What have I heard today, or what will I hear going forward that's important to me right now? It might not even be something that I say or someone else says. It could be something that you're thinking right now. Maybe there's something that scares you right now. It's something you've been avoiding. You find yourself maybe doom scrolling. You find yourself overeating. You find yourself oversleeping as a way to avoid something. What is that thing you're avoiding right now? Why are you avoiding it? When is now a good time to do something about it? I don't know what that thing is for you. I know what those things are for me. I have to make conscious efforts to do what I have to do, the things that I'm avoiding. Usually for me, it's something that scares me. Sometimes I don't even notice it scares me until I notice that I'm avoiding it. I tell myself, yeah, no, but that's not scary. That's easy. I could do that anytime. Yet 3 nights in a row, I decide to sit back and read, which isn't a terrible thing unless I'm using it to avoid. And I start asking, why am I avoiding this? Sometimes it's fear. Sometimes it's overwhelm or stress, anxiety, doubt. With all those things, what's underneath it is a fear, and it could be many different things. For me, oftentimes, it's a fear that I won't feel love. And it's almost ironic to say, with my primary question being, how can I experience even more of God's love right now? Because what often happens is that as soon as I say it out loud, and I remember where my love comes from, I'm immediately able to do the thing that I'm avoiding. So oftentimes, my fear is subconscious. And the more I let it sit in the subconscious, the more I let it hold me back. So whenever I get curious about where I am and when I am and what's going on, it's like I'm digging up those roots, bringing them up to the surface, and asking, are these the roots that I want to have planted? Or do I need to get rid of them? Do I need to replace them with something better? When I'm able to uproot some of my roots of fear, should I say, and replace them with roots of love, it's so much easier to, as I like to say, glide through the world. I hope you take the chance today to choose love. There are a lot of ways to experience love and a lot of ways to experience fear. I hope that when you're given the choice today and every day going forward, you're able to see what the choice of love is and you pick that one. And just see how the world and the universe rewards you for choosing love. Because I promise this, there is always a reward for choosing love. Always. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. It means a lot that you come back and you listen. I hope you heard something that sends a little tingle into your heart. Maybe it's just a reminder to choose love. Maybe it's a reminder that you're exactly where you're supposed to be, and you have the power to change it if you want. Whatever it is, I thank you for listening, not just to me, but to the universe. I wish you many rewards and much love, and have a great rest of your day. I love you.